Round 1. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry Gamers.
Hello, and welcome, boys and girls, to the 112th episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We are powered by 8bit.net, Audio-Technica, and a proud member of the hashtag 8bit Collective. I'm not so humble as Brendan White. You can find me pretty well everywhere at Brendan8bit. Joined today, one of my usual partners in crime, who I haven't seen in a hot minute, Saleem Abraham, who can be found at Saleem TD, and returning, the most accomplished author I personally know, the man that is putting in work 24/7, Jono Peck, who can be found at Jono himself.
What's going on?
And before we say hellos, we've also got sort of a secret guest, sort of almost like the devil on our shoulder here in the shadows. Last week wasn't enough, so we brought him back again. We've got Nato J, who can be found at I know Nato. How you doing, you sexy three bastards?
Doing good.
Good to be here.
I'm here in person.
Woo! He's feeling me on the microphone, people. He's feeling me on the microphone.
This was meant to be my episode, but NATO just had to come in like the leech that he is.
Yeah. This was my triumphant return. But
Yeah.
NATO has just kind of stolen my thunder.
Well,
I don't know how I feel
address
about this.
You being a coward, though. Like, you won't face me. You make all these acquisitions about being the best Pokemon master.
Acquisitions
Yeah, he
and
bought up all the
acquisitions?
Pokemon property on
I think
on
you
Mayfair.
mean accusations.
No, I'm gonna go acquisitions now. He bought up all the Pokemon waterfront.
He acquired the mastery himself
exactly.
via monetary gain.
Yeah, and now has been ducking me ever since these claims have been made.
I'm glad to be here with my good friends Brendan, Jono, and pretender to the Pokemon throne, Nato J. Nato, I'm coming for you. Anyway, hello, how are we? We're all good. Yeah, no, yeah.
We are good. We're all
are-
good.
we're
We'll put NATO back in the box for now. He
Yeah.
may return in a few minutes. So we're here on the 112th episode. It's been a while. Jono, thank you for taking the time out of your increasingly busy schedule to join us here at the Hungry HQ Satellite Edition. And Dream, that mustache is looking all kinds of sexy.
It's
I know
happening.
audio listeners, we're not painting any kind of picture here, but Dream is got a mustache that a lot of women would want to ride, I dare say.
Yeah.
Wow.
Picture Freddie
Yeah.
Mercury and Tom Selleck rolled into one.
Yeah, I'm going for the Selleck. I would love to grow a Selleck. I think that's every man's, dream mustache is the Tom Selleck. Am I wrong? I mean, like, what else is there? Freddie Mercury, Hitler.
Ron Swanson.
Oh my god.
Swanson.
Ron Swanson is up there.
I was thinking of
My
famous
goodness.
mustaches. And yeah, those were the two that I had ready to go. I think I'll pass on one and maybe try out Hitler. We'll figure it out.
You could have said Chopper. Chopper Reed.
Chopper, yeah, the Chopper, nice little.
The handlebars, yeah. Yep. Yeah. So what are you doing with that Dream? You keeping it around? You said you were debating doing the clean shave to accompany that rug you've got going there on your top lip.
Yeah, a bit of a, I don't know, bit of a funk. I haven't had the balls to do like a clean shave everywhere else and just have the mustache. And I feel like until I do that, I haven't really earned it. So what I'm doing is kind of trimming the sides down. I don't know. I get bored. I get bored real easy.
Oh, really?
Keeping yourself
Yeah,
entertained.
How did I not notice that in all these years, eh?
I think I'm just probably going to wind up shaving it soon, but I'll take a snap, and upload it so that all the lovely people out there can see what this glory really looks like around my mouth.
Looking at you now, it looks like you've just got 3 eyebrows. You've got those two big caterpillars, and then a third eyebrow has just fallen down your nose and landed on your upper lip.
Or like 4, and they kind of, these are 2 extras that just join. This is what my eyebrows would look like if I didn't kind of keep on top of that. Yeah, all right, enough about the mustache. What have you been playing, Brendan?
Mate, I have not really been playing anything new, so I'm not going to dwell too heavily on my game time. I've been playing a little bit more Jurassic World Evolution, building those dino parks. Sadly, my park got sabotaged by one of the in-house teams. Power went out across the park.
Oh, no.
Velociraptors running rampant, eating my visitors. It was DEFCON 5 out there at Isla Nublar for a while, but I got it sorted out. My rangers sedated the raptors, put them back in the pen. We threw the bodies into the ocean, so there was no massive big sort of media coverage of said disaster, and the park is still making money now, so that's good.
Phew.
That is good.
Yeah.
Started playing Fortnite on the Switch last night as I was chilling in bed, waiting for the new episode of Geordie Shore to come on, which is a story again for another day. Fortnite actually plays pretty well on the Switch. Obviously, the graphical fidelity is a step down from PC and mainstream console, but it looks well, it runs well. The servers seem to be pretty good, but I definitely need to invest more time in it if I want to try and become a Fortnite champion, because there is a big chasm between me and the upper echelon in that game, and I am drowning on the other side of that chasm in mediocrity. So
can I ask you, just like re-Fortnite, is there a part of you somewhere inside that's over it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of me.
Most of you?
Most of me.
I
only played it last night because I thought I had auto download set for new games on the Switch, and I bought Octopath Traveler, and I was intending to play that as I was chilling in bed, but looked and it wasn't downloading, so I chucked that on the download and just was doing that as a time sink, because I am chomping at the bit to get amongst that game, because it's just getting praised all over the internet. Everyone that I know that's playing it loves it. It's getting a lot of hype. It's a JRPG that the Switch needs, apparently. Paraphrasing a few games media outlets out there. So let's get amongst it.
Sounds good.
You played it?
Mr. Peck?
Yeah, well, this week I've been playing Mega Man 5 because I had a bit of a 2D platformer itch I needed to scratch, so that's been fun. I haven't played it before, so experiencing that for the first time. And it's kind of like, I played Celeste a few weeks ago, which I loved, and that's definitely in my top 3 game of the year, if not top 2 at the moment. And then I had a break. I played The Last of Us Remastered on the PS4 because I hadn't played the PS4 version of it yet, and that's just as amazing the 4th or 5th time that I've played it now. And Saleem, I still can't believe you haven't played it yet.
What, Celeste?
No, The Last of Us.
The Last of Us. Sorry, I was looking at something. The Last of Us. I am listening. And I was actually thinking of playing because I saw you put it on the agenda, and I flashed back to E3's The Last of Us 2 trailer and how awesome that looked. It's on my to-do list. It is on my to-do list.
Yeah. Sure. Anyway.
Just believe in me, all right? I'll get to it. I promise you I'll get to it.
So I finished
Celeste,
that.
right? You wanted me to play Celeste?
So good.
So I finished Last of Us, and I was like, okay, I want to play Celeste again, but those B-sides are so damn hard and impossible without a guide, I guess, that I was like, okay, I can't play these B-sides. What's another platformer? And then I realized I still had the Mega Man Legacy Collection installed, so I booted up Mega Man 5, and yeah, just... I dig it. I dig all the Mega Man games, and I'm really hyped for the new ones to come out this year.
Yeah, I missed a lot of the Mega Man hype growing up, and
me
even
too.
now.
Yeah, me too. It was only when I played
completely
Shovel
swept
Knight.
me by.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shovel Knight's magical.
It
Hollow
got me
Knight's
in there.
even more magical. My goodness, Hollow Knight is one of the best games to come out in the last several years, and the fact that it's made by those crazy Adelaidean boys at Team Cherry, much love to them. Like, that game's getting that big now. They've just announced that they're releasing the second soundtrack to that game. So they're releasing them as, downloadable albums now. So it shows that they're onto a winner when they're releasing the individual soundtracks to be purchased online.
They've just announced their 4th DLC. I forget the title. It's Gods and something. But they announced that, this week, I think. They're huge. It's amazing.
I saw...
there are 3 people in Team Cherry that made that game. 3 people.
That's insane, because that's generated over 1 million sales. It sold over 1 million units. Sorry,
that is massive
probably
for an
better
indie.
wording.
I'm still waiting for it to come to the PlayStation.
Ah, man. Yeah, it's not. It's not on the PlayStation or the Xbox, isn't it? It's PC and Switch.
Yeah. Which is pretty weird, like, for the climate we're in. For the time that it came out, you would have expected a PS4 port at least, if not Vita. But yeah, straight to the Nindies.
That is the new place for indies, though. Now it just goes from PCs to Nintendo now, because they're all like Switch owners just snap them up instantly because they love playing indies now. It's the new zone to go play indies. So now everyone knows that's their audience. Just put it on Switch first, and then make your money.
That Nintendo store though is overwhelming. Like, you jump in there, you even don't look at it for say 2 weeks, and you jump in to see what's new, and there's like 100 new games there, and you just get lost amongst all these titles.
But it actually feels like the right console for a 2D platformer. And I don't know if that's because of like the sort of Mario legacy, or if it's just because it's a handheld console compared to like PlayStation and Xbox, and you typically associate those with more 3D titles or graphically intense titles. But yeah, playing Hollow Knight on we had it through Steam. It totally feels like just like a Nintendo game to me almost. I don't know what it is about it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to play it on PlayStation. Just get it on PC, Jono.
I want it on Vita, man. Let me
You
have
want
this.
it on Vita? You want it on a hand? So
Vita's dead, man. It is like even PlayStation knows it's dead.
Vita is still pumping out the classics. Reverie, Rainbite.
It's bizarre. Like, they're churning out like maybe a game every month, or maybe 2 a month. Like, you see them occasionally pop up on a release list where it mentions Vita, and you're like, what? They're still pumping life into this thing?
20XX
out of obligation.
Vita
Out of
soon.
obligation only.
And Chasm, that game looks awesome. I don't know if you've seen any trailers for Chasm, but that's coming out on Vita soon. It's probably as well as the Switch and everything else, but that looks rad. That's another like kind of Mega Man inspired platformer.
You know what 8-Bit needs is a PS Vita dedicated podcast, Jono.
Wow.
And I think you're the man for it.
Look no further than me and Jack Cruz, and maybe we'll bring Tom Marshall in for that too. Get the band back together.
The 3 PS Vita owners in Victoria. All right. Cool. Celeste, Mega Man, The Last of Us. Jono, I promise you here and now.
Okay, promise me.
I promise you here.
Swear to me.
You're not even looking at it.
Swear to me.
Look at me.
I'm looking at it.
I promise you here and now, I will play The Last of Us. Not only will I play it, I will finish it within 2 weeks. Is that feasible?
What? Yeah.
No, because you got to be playing Octopath.
I'll be impressed
That's what you
with
got to
that.
be playing.
Yeah, you could do it in 2 weeks, but you're going to have to crunch a lot of time in.
You're going to have to stop
that.
playing
Alright, can
World
I say
of
a month
Warcraft,
then?
Saleem.
Can I
You
say
have
a
to give
month?
up WoW. Stop playing WoW.
Oh, I
month is
can't do
fair.
that either. Before the end of the year. How about that? Before the end of the year.
Yeah, okay. That's what I
You looking
expected
at
you
me?
to say.
And if I don't do it, then I don't know, you own my soul or something. We'll come
I
up
get
with
to
some
punch
kind of
you.
fair arrangement. I have been playing World of Warcraft though. Thank you to the person who predicted that in the agenda. Jono, okay. Yeah, no, so it's actually it's not a dull time for WoW. It's a really exciting time. Pre-patch dropped on Tuesday this week, which is the first release of content in the lead up to the new expansion, Battle for Azeroth, which comes out August 12th, I believe, from memory. But it's right around the corner. So things have changed in the game. It's fresh. Like a lot of the mechanics have already changed. You can really muck around with that now and really understand how your characters play now in this, new expansion that's coming out soon. I've been spending a little bit of time just kind of getting things ready on my Druid and my Death Knight, and that's as far into it as I'll go because everyone's eyes. I'm looking at Nato.
No, keep
I'm
going.
looking at Nato right now,
more about WoW.
and Nato looks like a kid, the kid in sex ed that just doesn't get any of it, just blank, just blank. But one really cool thing I started doing in between my last episode here and today is I started mucking around with the Unity engine. So yeah, it's so cool and it's so powerful.
It's really fun. I've done it like last year. I downloaded the free one that you could do and messed around with it for like a month or two. It was really good.
So
and like they have the learning programs they have in it is amazing. As well.
Oh, absolutely. So, if you have no idea what really goes into a game, that's okay because Unity really holds your hand through it. They've got a lot of tutorials on their own website, which are good. If you use like training websites like lynda.com, there are tons of tutorials there as well, which are also really cool. The engine itself's pretty straightforward if you've used any sort of editing software or like Photoshop, anything like that. The UI is quite similar, I've found, and it's quite easy to sort of figure out how things work. And it's free. Yeah, it is free. You only have to pay for a license if the game you make earns more than $100,000, which... Wow. Which is a great...
Fingers crossed, Dream. Fingers crossed.
It's a great threshold. You win either way. Like, you pay for the license because you've made a ton of money, or you don't.
It's a good problem
ever.
to have, yeah.
It is. It's a great problem to have.
They don't turn around and charge you like $99,000 for the license, do they?
Look, they very well might, and if they did, I'd respect it. I'd really respect it.
Between 5 or 15% they take of your earnings.
Yeah.
I know there's a percentage they take of your earnings once you get over a certain threshold, and then I think there's another like tax bracket as well, that if you get above this one as well, you pay them even more and stuff like that.
Cheeky buggers.
There's a little bit of programming involved, so if you're not too confident with that, maybe try and look at C#, which is the language that I'm using for most of it. And anyway, look, I'm having a hell of a lot of fun. I'm making dumb little games at the moment, which I think they resemble like iPhone 3 games, like early games, like the one with the ball that just kind of rolls around a board and you've got to get it in holes. Like, do we know what it's like? A maze game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Have a, keep an eye out for that on the iTunes store, because that's coming. Saleem the Dream's ball in hole game. Yeah.
Please
I don't know. I will. Okay. I'm really, really enjoying this. It seems like a fun little thing to do as a hobby. And it's game making. It's how dreams are actually made.
Can I ask, what is sort of your end goal? Like, if, say, you could invest between now and Christmas, just like with The Last of Us, what is the game you want to try and make between now and then?
Can I throw a real spanner in the works and say The Last of Us 3?
Damn it.
Yeah.
You got us.
I'm going to do that, and no one's going to see it coming. Ellie, at the end of The Last of Us 2, realizes that she could actually lead a sort of rebellion against the other factions of man. I haven't played the first one, so I've got no idea what the story is.
By dropping a ball in a hole, she can...
That's what I was about to say. She uses a ball in a hole.
Ellie is the ball. Yeah, it's not going to look as good as The Last of Us. It's going to be represented by shapes, like just geometrical shapes on the board.
You have to use your imagination.
Saleem the Dream's ball in hole game, The Last of Us 3.
Part 3.
Part 3. It's coming.
You're basically making money straight off the bat. Like,
I'm going to have to pay that license eventually.
It's clickbaity straight off the bat, but people will be interested.
Yeah. Outside of that, that's kind of been me. I guess from now on, I'll start talking about The Last of Us.
But, Dream, as Mr. Final Fantasy himself, are you not going anywhere near Octopath? The Final Fantasy VI Part 2.
He doesn't have a Switch.
I don't have a Switch. Yeah. I was going to buy one this week because Amazon had a flash sale for $315 off their flogging Switches as part of the Prime Day sales, which I only learned about. They had it on that day, and then the day after, they were like, in case you missed it, we're doing it again. And then the day after, that's when I saw that they were having a sale. So I missed both sales. Not great.
Okay, so obviously you didn't buy anything from Prime Day.
No.
Jono, did you pick up anything on Prime Day?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I didn't either. Like, I was watching it like a hawk, just to see if there was anything worth getting. But like, the Switch deal was phenomenal. They had a PS4 Pro Fortnite bundle for $350 as well, which was great, and also a One S, Minecraft edition for under $200, and the Elgato Stream Decks for $90, like for half price as well.
Yeah, $80 or something like that.
They had, but then amongst that there was like buy bulk nappy sand nappies and like buy bulk Pino Clean wipes and stuff. So you had to wade through a lot of shit to try and find some hotness. But I didn't buy anything.
Buy 200 rolls of toilet paper and get a free 201st roll of toilet paper.
What a bargain! I didn't even know it was on. To be honest, yeah, I don't know. Amazon's only a real new thing here for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
I nearly bought like a 50 centimeter tall Lego BB-8 there, but yeah, just the discount reduction wasn't screaming at me enough to pick it up.
That would be bigger than the real one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it's almost like a 1-for-1 likeness or something, but yeah, didn't happen.
Probably for the best.
Yeah, but do you guys know what did happen this week?
Tell me.
Video game news.
This week's news headlines.
And the first bit of news that I want to talk about comes to us via way of Tom Phillips at Eurogamer. Microsoft will use a live Inside Xbox show to debut, in quotes, all new Xbox hardware and accessories, end quote. Direct from this year's Gamescom show floor. To put your expectations in check, we're not expecting Microsoft to suddenly spring the launch of Xbox 2 on us, even if Xbox chief Phil Spencer confirmed 2 new consoles were in development back at E3. Most likely, Microsoft will be debuting the snazzy rumoured Xbox Elite 2 controller, which had details leaked previously talking about USB-C charging as well as Bluetooth. What do you guys think may or may not be announced at Gamescom via way of Microsoft as far as new hardware and accessories? What do you think?
Interesting. Yeah, I concur. I don't know. There'll be another peripheral that there isn't already, if that makes sense. Like thinking along the lines of Kinect, something different that you can plug into your Xbox and interact with. I wouldn't be surprised if we got something brand new.
Could be VR.
Could be VR.
Yeah.
Cool. Could be VR.
There's heaps of stuff coming out of them that they said they're staying the hell away from VR now. Okay. I think they've seen like PSVR did well, but they see how much effort they had to put into it to keep it.
I'm sorry, who's
going?
Who's talking right now?
Oh,
some random. He's just busted through the door here.
Sorry, Jono.
Oh, I'm sorry. I research my own products before I come on this show and speak nonsense.
Sorry you had to witness that, Jono. I don't like getting angry in front of you. Nato, finish your thought, Nato. Finish your thought.
No, I if anything, it will be a integration with Oculus. Because there was that always back in the day when they brought the Xbox controller came stock standard with the Oculus and stuff like that. There was always rumors back then that there was going to be a partnership, and it never seemed to come into light.
Well, remember, was it 3 E3s ago, maybe 2, where they did the augmented reality headset where they were sort of deep diving into Minecraft through sort of the Oculus attachment, like, and that just never got spoke of again.
That went nowhere.
It went into industry. They figured out it wasn't going to be cheap enough to use it for commercial use, so it has been superly integrated into I think NASA and stuff like that.
And stuff like
yeah,
that
but yeah, there was no commercial use for it, so they cancelled that side of it.
Interesting.
Outside of that, I can't think of anything else they're sort of lacking, like in that space. Like unless they turn around and say, "Hey, we've got an Xbox One S Lite handheld option where you can take it on the fly," like. Their sort of hardware portfolio is pretty jam packed.
It's going to be a Dance Dance Revolution peripheral.
Oh,
I would love that. with the back bar that you hold on to and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just an attachment to your belt, and it sort of straps around you. You can sort of just hold on to it for stability. Little legs kick out.
Do we care much about an Xbox Elite 2 controller?
Yeah, I like the first one. Like I've got one, but I don't use it very often. To be honest,
it was retailing for $200 when it first came out.
Still is.
It still is.
It's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah.
It's worth every dollar.
I don't think so. I think like the pinnacle for precision is always going to be PC, and people who want that should go there. And I know that's crazy, and I know there are plenty of COD players on the Xbox system and probably Fortnite more so now that want to play there and play competitively there. But I don't know that it's worth getting a $200 controller to do that, particularly when there are third-party peripherals that are probably just as good.
Nah, like I'll stand by that Elite controller being
you sure?
top tier. I've used the Razer equivalent, and it's not as good.
So if you look at any other sort of genre of game, like fighting games, for example, like Mad Cats have great controllers. that you can use
yeah.
for PlayStation. You would not go near the Xbox Elite controller next to a Mad Catz controller. I feel like there would have to be other. I haven't looked into it too far, obviously, but I just like $200 straight away. It makes me like just think, no, I'm not going to spend that money on a controller that is 90%. Oh, that's a bit. Maybe
Doesn't Dream own a
80%. Don't own a fight stick.
It makes
A Hori?
sense for different
Do I own a
genres to
Hori?
have
Of course I
different
own a
types
Hori.
of controls. Though.
Yeah, no,
No,
but there
I
are
don't
there are
like
like pad controllers similar to the Xbox pad itself, that are used specifically for fighting games, that are built for fighting games. And I would just assume that there'd be something similar for shooting games. Anyway, $200, spend it if you want. Xbox Elite Controller 2 coming to a store near you for $250, because they can't both be worth the same amount of money. This one comes with stickers.
Who doesn't want decals?
Who doesn't want decals? Brendan, this shit is marketed to you, my friend.
Just put something out that's purple, and Brendan's like, I must have it.
Yeah, put a T-Rex head on it. Oh,
Yeah. I'm pre-ordering day one. So Jono,
Yeah.
what are you bringing to the table for us to peruse over tonight? What's the first thing
I got a whole
you're gonna
bunch
unpack
of these,
here?
yeah. We've got the Xbox stuff out of the way. That's good, because I don't know anything about that. But I thought I wanted, after listening to you guys talk about Mortal Kombat movie last week that, might not even get made, let's talk about this thing that did get made, this Uncharted fan film with Nathan Fillion. We've wanted him as Drake forever. We pretty much think or know that the character was designed to look like Nathan Fillion from the original PS3 one. Over the years, he's become more of a unique character in his design, but Nathan Fillion is like, and especially his portrayal in Firefly. Like, there's so much Drake in that character, or there's so much of that character in Drake. So, did you guys watch this movie, and how much did you love it?
I did watch it.
Give us a TV show, Netflix TV show.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
Stop
exactly
making
what I
movies
said. Yep, I agree.
And just
Nathan.
give us TV shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it twice. It was phenomenal from start to finish. Even just the guy's name escapes me who they got to play as Sully, the main antagonist from Avatar and the blind guy from that movie Don't Breathe. Him being in there as well.
He was like great. Yeah, he nailed the voice.
It was so well done. Like for a pretty well pseudo short fan film, the production quality was top notch. The acting was great. And anything with Nathan Fillion, I would sit and watch. Like, I'd sit and watch him eat his breakfast and sort of recite lines out of the newspaper.
Yeah.
I love him. I love him that much. He's just, he typifies modern day pop culture to me. Especially as you said, Firefly. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. Sadly, if it was released today, it'd probably be a long running successful franchise, but it didn't find its market way back when. But
Never got bad.
it didn't. It was fantastic.
Yeah, so
And Serenity, the film was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so well done, and I'm hoping, because there's been a lot of positive press about this, and I think a lot of downloads. Like, I saw it was over 1 million views already.
Wow.
Well, not downloads, 1 million views within the space of that sort of 24-hour launch. So there's definitely some interest on it.
Yeah, Saleem, is it just The Last of Us that you hate, or all Naughty Dog franchises?
All of them.
All of them? You haven't played Uncharted?
No, I haven't. And it's not, and I hate that you framed the question in such a way like I've got this aversion to the series and to Uncharted. I don't. I just, you know what it is? I didn't have a PS3. That's what it is. So I never had a PS3. So I never got Uncharted.
It's a shame that it's not. Oh wait, it is on PS4. Oh, there you go.
But now it is, right? Yeah, true.
I could lend you the Uncharted collection.
Hold on. No, let me rebuttal. Now it is. Now it's on PS4.
Yes, it is. It is.
And
All 4 games.
when you see like 2 come out and 3 come out of any series, and you haven't played the first one, do you think you're going to jump straight in at 2, or do you think I'll just jump straight into the first one? And then time goes by.
Jump into the Legacy collection.
And you know what, Jono?
Before Uncharted 4.
You know what, Jono? And time goes by, and maybe you want to write a novel. You know what I mean? Maybe you want to do other things with your life. You don't want to go back to this one game from 2009 or whenever it was from. You know, so that's kind of what happened to me. Thank you. All right. Okay. I did watch this film though, and I thought it looked really good. It's like, I mean, I was trying to work out how much the budget for this would have been. It probably, it's hard to say. They've got aerial shots in there. They've obviously got, you've got guns. You've got stuntmen doing crazy shit like jumping through windows. I want to put it at maybe, 20 to 50 grand. I think they could have potentially spent on this short film. And also,
hard to know with the actors, like, did Nathan Fillion do it for free? Did he ask for like half of the budget? It's hard to know. Exactly
right. But I didn't know anything about Nathan Drake as a character. I had no idea that he was at all remotely based on Fillion. When I was looking at Fillion play this character as well, I was wondering how much of it was him versus how much of it is the character, and I'm learning that a lot of it's the character. I thought it was really good though. It was fun, it was funny. He's funny, great. And it actually seemed like such a great premise for Uncharted 5 to jump into. Like, we've got this weird mystery. Oh, just go with me here, right? I haven't played the first 4. Right?
I mean, the way Uncharted 4 ends, it's people will hear that and say it'd be very unusual to go there exactly there. But
yeah. He does.
Well, that's what we think at the end of every Fast and Furious. And look, what are we up to? 9 now?
Yeah.
My goodness.
That's it. I
did always think, like, Nathan Fillion for the last few years has been, I've always said, too old to play Nathan Drake when they've been talking about, who should they cast in a movie or whatever. But the way that he did this portrayal made me think, I can buy into it. If Harrison Ford can play Indiana Jones at like 70 years old or whatever he is now, and even in Crystal Skull, for whatever problems people had with it, it wasn't really Harrison Ford that was a problem. Like, as him as Han Solo, you still believe that he can like point the blaster and he can, kick some butt. So I think that Nathan Fillion's still a very, very good choice for that. If it does ever, fingers crossed, happen.
He looked like he's in good shape.
It's still up in the air, right? Like, there's still no solid confirmation that anything will ever happen. Yeah.
No, I don't think it will either.
Probably not, but we can dream, can't we? Dream.
We can. You're entirely correct. We can. I think it should. I think it's fun, and you're right. I was reading an interview that Nathan Fillion was doing. Completely forget the publication he was doing it with, but he was talking about how people for a long time have wanted, a new sort of Indiana Jones. This character is very Indiana Jones. It is exciting. It is fun. I thought it was great. And like, there are these little bits of history kind of thrown in there about Magellan and his friendship with X person and the Trinidad and blah blah. Obviously, it all sunk in. But it's fun. Like, it was fun to watch this like short film.
It sounds like you'd like the game Uncharted, Saleem. If you
look, I just might. Let me get through The Last of Us first. I'm developing a pretty deep game debt with you right now, Jono.
I'll make sure that by this time next year, you'll at least have played one of those games, and maybe 2.
I'll do it, but I'll hate it the whole way, just out of spite.
If the Xbox guy is telling you that you should have played these games, I think you should be playing them, Drink. All right?
And if we have to be realistic about it, I'd say that you could get away with like watching a video that covers 1, 2, and 3 and just playing 4, because they might not have aged as well as what you would need them to, having not have any nostalgia for them.
Yeah, the first one's pretty rough.
The first one's pretty rough.
The second one, though,
the stories are all great, but
the story's amazing. But the gameplay in number 1 had me nearly throwing the controller at the wall because it does not like to do what you want it to do.
Interesting.
One other quick thing before we jump on to the next one. Did you see the confirmation that came out the other day that the red meter that pops up in Uncharted isn't like health, it's actually like his luck meter, and when that runs out, he actually gets shot. So in all the games, you never get shot until that luck meter drops and you actually die.
Yeah, that's been disproven already. Somebody put a big montage of Uncharted. I don't think 1 and 2 maybe, but by 3 there was a whole montage of literally bullets getting hit into him and stuff like that, and him making noises when he gets shot. And so
they may have returned to it for the 4th one.
Yeah.
because Amy Hennig did say that's true, so I think if she says that,
Yeah.
we can believe it. But yeah, it definitely may have veered away eventually. But it's a cool idea, and it adds that sense of pseudo realism to. It's more realistic that someone can be lucky than for them to get shot 1,000 times and survive. It's that kind of James Bond type of thing where you watch a Bond movie and he just kind of, glides across a room as the bullets are flying and none of them seem to hit him.
Who's going to be the next James Bond?
Oh.
I was going to say Elba until he'd done a pretty terrible job at a few films recently, and then I was like, oh.
He's too old. Is the problem with Idris Elba?
Don't give us that.
No. It's not my problem. I'd love to see Idris Elba play James Bond, but that was the critique. The reason he was knocked back for Spectre. Who's the new James Bond? Who cares? I don't care. Yeah. All right.
Unless we're going to start talking about GoldenEye, it's not a Hungry Gamers conversation, is it?
No, that's exactly right. But just on this kind of train of thought, Mission Impossible Fallout. That's what I'm keen for. Spy film wise, that film looks amazing. Looks absolutely amazing. So until that's kind of come to pass, forget James Bond. Don't worry about him.
All right, Jono, what else you got in that bag of goodies there?
I'm trying to remember now. Oh, well, there was... You've got the agenda in front of you. Can you remind me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No Man's Sky.
So...
No Man's Sky, that's right. Thank you.
Okay. That's not where I was going to go, but we'll circle back.
Saleem,
no worries.
Saleem threw it out there. This is just a quick one, potentially. They've released a pretty big DLC update that makes this game third-person, multiplayer, all the stuff that would have been amazing at the start. And as great as it looks, like I was watching a trailer for it today and I thought, man, this looks like a fun game. I just am frustrated and disappointed that it's taken this long, more than 2 years, maybe right on almost 2 years for this to happen when I already platinumed the game in the first couple of months that it came out. And I just can't...
You platinumed it?
I did. I enjoyed it. Yeah,
He's a trophy hunter. He's a trophy hunter. That's why. He didn't do it because he enjoyed the game.
No, I actually did enjoy the game. It was fun, but it just wasn't... Because I didn't go into it with these massive expectations, right? So
okay, it
was fun. It was a grindy game where I could listen to podcasts and whatever and just, have a couple of weeks where I'm playing this game. And, that was fine. But now seeing what they've put into it now just makes me go, really? Like, it would have been so good to wait till it reached that point before they released it. And I'm not going to go back to it. I mean, some people will. Yeah. But it's just something that bothered me, and it's a...
but is that the game's fault or PlayStation's fault? Because,
that's something
PlayStation really started putting this as its, front runner, and that's why I would always love to go back and be a fly on the wall and see whether it was really it didn't, because up until PlayStation grabbed it as their front runner, it seemed like it was just a chill game. They were going to get it out.
Game, really, and then they touted it as a AAA game changing.
Sean Murray was talking about
trillion universes.
Sean Murray was talking about it almost in terms of what it is now, and he was promoting it that way, which obviously didn't pan out to be. So I don't know. I think
but a lot of stuff did happen to that company. They had the floods where they lost everything, and they had to go back to square one making that game. And
they need to make a documentary. They need to make a documentary.
Yeah, that's what
about
I mean.
this.
I'd love to go back and see this game from start to when the initial release.
Yeah. And the fact, things. Even just the fact that Sean Murray went quiet for 90 days as a company, they went quiet for 90 days after release at the critical time that people are wanting to hear from them and explanations, and this is what
working on the game.
It's deceptive. Well, it's just deceptive, irrespective of all the misfortune. It was touted as something, and then what they released was very different, and it could have just been entirely out of their hands. But you've taken people's money, and you've promised something, so it's just deceptive.
Yeah, and I mean, it's. I don't want to say it's a trend, because a trend has to be, a certain amount of examples, but even with Final Fantasy 15, that's another game that I finished, and then 6 months to a year later, we're adding all this stuff and we're doing all these things that you've asked for. It's like, well, that would have been great when I played it. I'm not going to play it again just for that. And so they can say we've made this great game, but I'm going to sit here and say, well, it wasn't great when I played it. It was okay and it was fine, but this is what it should have been at that point. But they rushed to get it out, and it makes me go, well, I'm not going to buy the next Final Fantasy major release for at least a year after it's out when it's half the price, because what am I going to get? And I feel like that about Hello Games as well, because who really knows when they'll get a chance to put out another game and how long that might take. But you got to wonder that it's that once bitten, twice shy kind of thing.
Yeah, no, they definitely lost my trust. As you said, Jono, the fact that Sean chucked his head in the sand for 90 days, didn't say a word about it. Like, he could have came out 2 weeks later even, or even in the first month, and be like, we really apologize, this isn't how it was planned. We couldn't keep up with the launch cycle or whatever. But the fact that he just went, you know what, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, and just sort of disappeared off the radar, it got a lot of people offside. Yeah. And as you said, Jono, like, it looks good. The trailers for this patch looks phenomenal, but yeah, it's past me. I'm sort of that jilted ex-lover now, and it's like, you know, I'm cursing his name in the streets to anyone that'll listen. So
it just came across disingenuous. Like, he could, like, after realizing it's not going to be what I said it's going to be, he could have, I don't know, it would have been like marketing suicide to do it, but he could have said, unfortunately, some of the stuff we've talked about won't be in the game, but we still are confident that you'll have a great experience, blah, 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 blah. Like, you know, you pay people lots of money to market these things, so do it right. Yeah. Don't be dishonest, and don't be disingenuous.
And you know what else?
Still,
like
an indie game.
Yeah.
That, like, they don't know what they were doing and stuff like that. That's what I mean. That's why, like, I hate playing devil's advocate, but that's like, it's not like this. It was touted as this AAA game, but it was still made by an indie studio that's, like, not used to this big brand thing.
I think that can be a bit of a cop-out, though, because we're sitting here, we're not professionals in this sense, but we still know what's right and what's wrong. And I think what they did on many levels was just wrong.
It was poorly handled on all fronts.
You know what else, though? And this is a fact. Game of the year. Still game of the year. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
How do you think Saleem Dreams' Ball in the Hole would stack up against No Man's Sky relaunch? Do you think they're got a sort of puncher's chance to make their way out of this, or what?
I'm just going to follow their marketing strategy. It was amazing. I don't know. It's still early. I'm a small indie. I'm a small indie outfit at the moment, Brendan. I'll talk to you when we're a bit closer to delivery and we can really start to see what we're working with.
Just promise the world. That's what they did.
Yeah.
What's his name? Peter Molyneux. Yeah, the Peter Molyneux special.
Yeah. It's going to be the best.
It's going to be the best.
It's going to be magical.
It's going to have everything. It's going to plant an acorn and you're going to watch this tree grow with Fable, the greatest game ever.
Yeah. So, a game that could have been the greatest ever, as far as my fandom goes, Aliens Colonial Marines. There was some news that leaked this past week where one typo ruined the AI code for the entire game. They misspelt the word tether. They wrote it in the coding as teether, which they're saying pretty well single-handedly spiraled this game into Shitsville. Can confirm it is firmly in Shitsville. I played this, actually finished it. But it was a punish.
The AI is just not. This is the Andromeda thing all over again. Like, I know you like that game, but it's like the Andromeda thing where everyone was like, "Oh, if they just fixed the glitches and stuff like that, it would have been a good game." And it's like, well, most Mass Effect fans were like, well, no, the story was very bad in that game as well. Same with Colonial Marines. It wasn't just the AI that was bad in that game. There was a lot bad in Colonial
The story
Marines.
was good. They're not overly deep, those games.
He'll die on this hill
at the best of times.
You'll never get him away from it. He'll die on that hill.
The thing that I love about this story is, when did that game come out? 5-6 years ago?
I'm trying to find the exact date, but I think it was 4 or 5 years ago.
Colonial Marines.
Alien Colonial Marines.
Right.
Yeah, so it's taken this long for it to become public that there was this typo. It means that no one in the development team noticed that there was something wrong with the gameplay and decided to go and look for this problem. None of the modders found it until, I think, towards the end of last year, this modder found it and put it up on Reddit or whatever it was, and it's only now that it's become public knowledge. It's been like picked up by some news website or whatever it was. It's just unbelievable that you could have a team put their game out, have it criticized, probably be playing it, and realize that there's something off, and not bother to go and try and fix that. That just baffles me.
Yeah, it's very short-sighted by Gearbox, and it sucks because the game looks good. Like, it looked good. It was true to the source material. The guns...
It looks good.
It looked good for
Oh,
what
it looked
was.
bad, but...
Here we go.
You really are an apologist for this game.
It did look good. Just the AI was shit. It was janky and just made no sense. But it looked like Aliens Colonial Marines. It looked like the Aliens movie in the video game.
Can we go back to not talking about No Man's Sky, but just about sort of Too Little Too Late? Did you guys see that Shadow of War just removed all of its microtransactions? After they've made all of their money? Is that a dick move?
Dodgy?
Like, is that just just nothing but a middle finger to gamers?
Yeah, very much. Especially the ones that have probably sunk some good cash in that game.
Yeah.
And now that all that stuff's eliminated,
It's like Battlefront 2 as well. Did the same thing. After they made a shit ton of money on their microtransactions.
they were a lot
now.
faster.
They were now they're back.
Yeah.
But they were a lot
It's
faster,
kind of that,
though.
yeah. But is it also that thing of like, is it that thing of just because you make a mistake doesn't mean you have to keep making that mistake? Like, if they've realized that they were doing something wrong, they've corrected it. Is it worse to just stick to your guns just because it's the way you've been doing it?
I think you got to look at it at a case by case basis, because you can't. I don't know. I think what Shadow of War did was kind of frustrating because it ruins a single player experience. It doesn't ruin a multiplayer experience. So it's kind of dirty because you're not really delivering a full game. You're delivering kind of a half game with, the option to buy better, if that makes sense.
I mean, I played that game and didn't spend any money, and it was never exactly clear to me how it would be improved if I did spend money. I think it's not until like the last kind of section where it really comes into it. So yeah, I don't know. I think it looked really bad, and it may have been blown a little out of proportion.
It does
but
look bad.
It is a weird thing, and it is, I think, a bit of a lesson for these kinds of games.
Yeah, we're hearing less about microtransactions now than we were 9 months ago. I think everyone's kind of felt the burn a little bit. We'll see what happens.
It's all about battle passes now, boys.
Yeah.
Battle passes. That's the way forward.
Yeah, take a leaf out of take a page out of Epic's book.
Dream, speaking of taking pages out, what have you written on yours?
So I've got a lot of Blizzard news because there's great Blizzard news to come. I already talked about how the pre-patch is here. BFA is a few weeks away. You've already heard me talk about that. But that, if you're a WoW person, now's the time to get back. The Hearthstone new expansion was announced this week. It's all centered around Dr. Boom, who was this probably the most famous character to come out of the Goblins vs. Gnomes expansion. It's the Boomsday Project, and with it, like all expansions, comes a new keyword. This one's magnetic. It is basically a mechanic that allows you to either play a monster that's magnetic as it is, or play its stats onto another monster. I believe this is like a Yu-Gi-Oh mechanic. Nato, you're the best person to ask here. Resident Yu-Gi-Oh person. What's the sort of same mechanic in Yu-Gi-Oh called?
I have no idea.
It's like artifacts in Magic. Yeah, it's like a way of powering up a card, a monster card.
Like
just like a Magic card. Then.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, okay, Magic cards.
Okay.
Magic card, is that one word? Is that a portmanteau?
No, Magic
card. Okay, 2 words.
Yes.
So
Card.
there are magnetic cards coming to all Hearthstone players soon. There's also, for the first time, legendary spells, not quests. There were quests introduced in the Journey to Ungoro expansion, which are like spells, but they're not really. They're very different. These are actual spells that are legendaries. They do cool things. The one they released, the effect is like you draw the rest of your deck, and it's a 5-mana spell. So that's quite a cool thing to be able to do, I think. Be interesting to see how that works into the very aggro meta that's there. Nato, are you still playing Hearthstone? Every time I talk to Brendan and Ali about it, they're both just kind of wait till I'm done.
I've never played Hearthstone. I've never played Hearthstone because it's very slippery slope for me, and I don't want to go down that.
I thought it was you. Are you sure? I thought it was you.
Yeah, no, I've had to stay away from it for like
Sure.
alcoholic reasons. Of like, I know what will happen if I ever play that game, and I'll go down the route where I did with Yu-Gi-Oh, spending thousands upon thousands of dollars.
What?
Yeah. Oh, it's possible, dude. It's very possible.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
my.
easy.
Have you played it,
I
John?
thought Brendan was bad with his wrestling packs.
He is.
I'm about probably 2.5 months clean now on WWE Supercard. Have not dropped
Congratulations.
$1.
He's got a little coin. He's got a coin that they give you
Yeah.
in 60 days.
It's actually like a little mini wrestling belt that I wear on my finger.
It's from 2K, but instead of saying like 60 days clean, it's like 60 days dirty. Come back to us, Brendan. Give us your money.
No,
But it's not
Saleem.
even the money; it's the time sink as well. Because like I'll be sitting there trying to find cards, I'll be trying to stack decks, I'll be learning metas, and like your whole life just gets dedicated to a card game. It's not cool. It's not cool.
No,
Come join me in
I've never played
WWE
at Hearthstone,
Supercard.
Saleem, to answer your question. Haven't delved
I
into
dream if I had the money and the time.
I'm sure
it. I
someone
don't know
who...
if
It's
like just like the sample from every host that's ever been on this show. I'm not sure if Benny's played it. He's the only one in question now. I'm the only person who's really played it aside from Brendan. You had a cameo at best. Ali played it actually. Yeah, okay. There's a few.
she liked it.
She liked it enough for like a week, and then I think she got over it. Not enough.
Yeah, I had a 3-episode arc and then sort of went my way.
You had good cards too. I was pretty pissed off. You cracked some really good cards. You had a Varian Rin.
Oh, yeah.
Really good.
I'll sell it to you if you like.
You can't.
Do you a sweet deal.
No trading. Can't trade.
I'll sell you my account, bro.
Can't do that either.
I'm still waiting for
okay.
that Gwent card game to hit PS4 in full because I'm hungry for that one.
It's good. Did you obviously played a fair amount of Gwent playing the Witch series?
Yeah, a lot.
But have you played just the Gwent the card game on its own yet?
Yeah,
or not
I
at
did.
all?
I downloaded it and I was like, this is really cool. And then I realized there were no trophies, so I was like, I'll wait till it's full release so I can play with my friends, so I can play with my brother, so I can get trophies. And I didn't think I'd be waiting this long, but it's been like more than a year of the beta. So yeah, I'm getting impatient. CD Projekt Red, hurry up.
I'm gonna.
Do they have achievements on the Xbox One yet? Do they?
I think so.
On Gwent? I think you can get gamer score points off it on the Xbox.
Well, there you
Who
go.
knows?
Victory Xbox.
What's the score?
So
What's the running score there though? It's like
100 to 1.
exactly. Yeah. Phil Spencer's like got the little checkboard in his office.
He's like, boys, we did it. It's like this huge chalkboard, and he puts the one line on it.
Yeah.
We got him. We got him achievements on Gwen.
A bunch of sweaty office workers cracking Moe in Shandon in celebration. I love it. I'm going to read you guys a tweet. This is the next one.
Do it.
Yeah.
This is from Chance the Rapper, right? He tweeted on the 13th of July at 9:33 in the morning. So he got up, he had his coffee, and he thought of this. Fortnite should put the actual rap songs behind the dances that make so much money as emotes. Black creatives created and popularized these dances but never monetized them. Imagine the money people are spending on these emotes being shared with the artists that made them. End tweet.
Good tweet.
Great tweet. Great tweet. So, what he's basically saying is that the dance moves that are seen all over your Facebooks and your Twitters, made famous not by Fortnite, but popularized to like a weird global sort of fanatic level by Fortnite, and emotes that they are making a killing on, that should somehow go to the original creators of these moves. Not necessarily as well. I think he elaborated a little bit later, not to say like they should start paying these artists, but play the music so that people at least get the reference and then get to learn about the artist and maybe go and spend money on the artists or something.
They need to pay Backpack Boy. That's what they need. Backpack Boy needs his cash, all right?
Yeah.
It's an interesting one because like, how do you claim that you invented a dance move. Like, because if you are to, watch me whip, watch me nay, whatever, like if you are starting to pay that guy, then someone comes out of the woodwork and says, well, actually, I grew up with that guy and I taught him that move when I was like 12 years old. So, how do you draw a direct line between this dance move and this artist? I don't know. It's a hard one.
It is blurry.
You just be like Leighton Hewitt and you copyright that son of a bitch. He owns that come-on thing.
Yeah.
So, you be like Leighton and you get those watch me whip nay dances
Yeah, but where is he now?
trademarked.
Where's Leighton now?
Probably cashing them
He's
royalty checks
coaching
from
the
people
Davis.
doing this
He's
all
coaching
over.
the Davis Cup team. I'm pretty sure. So he's doing all right and commentating.
I don't even.
all that kind of
I don't listen. I don't watch tennis, so I don't know what who. watches.
Yeah, obviously someone
out
who
with,
watches
Ben
tennis.
Cartwright.
Someone's been
I
keeping
don't
an eye
watch
on
tennis.
Wimbledon.
I don't
No?
watch it. No.
You know,
But
awful-
yeah, and I mean, like, it's
awful
not
lot.
just like the games we've mentioned. I think like even like NBA 2K has these animations that people can buy.
Destiny.
Destiny, like even
WoW,
Uncharted
League of
multiplayer
Legends.
had these things as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah, like Salt Bay. Imagine if he came out and started suing like Activision and Bungie, saying, "Motherfuckers, pay up. That's my salt you're dropping in that game on the daily. Where's my cheddar?"
yeah,
But
it's a tough one.
expanding on that as well, like it's the same as how in the NBA games and stuff, you don't really see any of the players with tattoos because a couple of tattoo artists that have obviously done work on players have attempted to sort of sue them or claim royalty because obviously that's their image getting used in the game and they're not seeing a cent from it. So it's definitely a discussion that's constantly ongoing and changing and evolving.
But copyright law, like this is all copyright, really, isn't it? Kind of, that's the domain we're sort of working in. And you look at how it works in music already. Like there are constant challenges between whether this song sounds a lot like this song and they go to court and then, the courts sell it. Like the problem here is that these things that, rightfully have been made famous one way and not necessarily monetized. And then like Epic's just really profiting on it. Like that's a problem. And there should be a way to there should be some kind of middle ground to compensate people fairly. How you settle that, who knows? I'm no big city copyright lawyer.
I think,
but
I think it would be a nice gesture from them to do that. Like it would be you wouldn't be able to enforce it. You wouldn't be able to say you must pay these people, but it would be I think a good
an acknowledgement,
gesture of goodwill. For them to say, we'll throw something your way.
And you could draw those lines. Eventually, you should be able to draw those.
When you get the.
What were you interrupting me there for, Nato?
Sorry, I was going to say, like, even when you're picking the emote, maybe, like, give a history of, like, here's where this dance came from and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Here's where you
Like,
can download
I think
it,
in Spotify, they have, like, behind the lyrics, and it tells you, like, how the lyrics were written for this song. You could do that for these dances. Even, like, just referencing that way, so you can at least point them in the direction of... Because I don't think putting the rap songs in is going to work, because then you got to license the rap song behind the dance as well.
Well, I mean, it's not like they're not made of money. I'm sure they could make it work to put Drake's...
Yeah, but that's the thing about people with money. They don't like to spend it. That's why they got that money.
What are you talking about? Epic gave away all the money they earned from Paragon. They're happy. They're happy to do stuff like that.
Here's something. What if people, fall in love with these dance moves? They go back and find where it originated from. They listen to the song on Spotify. They buy the single. They buy the album. They go to the concert. They buy the T-shirt. Like,
I'll tell you,
it's a form of discovery as well in that area. Isn't
I'll tell you the problem right now.
Point them direction.
I can tell you the problem with that right now is that I didn't know that Fortnite didn't make that shit up until someone pointed it out to me. Sounds dumb.
You're
sounds
too
dumb. I am. Someone had to point it out to me.
Even though you're brown.
It's because it was after the World Cup, after England scored a goal. I forget the player's name and I forget the team they were playing, but he did that dance. He did that hype dance. And I said to my cousin, "Oh, isn't it lame that this guy just did this Fortnite thing?" He said, "It's not a Fortnite thing. It's this thing." And then he explained it to me. I would have known that. And then, you think about how many people play... But you think about how many people who play Fortnite are white. They're not going to know as well.
I'm as I said, be like Leighton and copyright that shit. So next time Johnny Striker from England pots a goal and does that dance, you send him an email or an invoice the next day and say, "Mother, pay up. That's my dance, son." That's how you do it.
Yeah, I think it's again. We talked about all the other games that do this as well. It's becoming I won't say a problem, but it's kind of annoying seeing, like, really thinking about it and really sort of digesting what Chance is trying to point out here. Chance the rapper, fucking great rapper name. I don't know. Is that white to say? Am I really whiting it up? Nato, you tell me. You're glowing over there in the corner.
Yeah, you are. You really whitened it up.
Thanks,
here.
mate.
It looks like inside of a dentist's
Thanks,
clinic
mate.
right now.
It does feel like people are stealing IP.
He does have pearly whites.
Yeah. It does feel like people are stealing IP. And that they're making money from it. I don't know. It just seems a bit dirty. But
So
hey,
let's pay Michael Jackson's estate every time someone does the moonwalk.
dude, up until like 2 years ago, a year ago, Happy Birthday couldn't be sung anywhere.
Yeah, but that's different. That's a licensed song, and they would only be able to play like 4 seconds of it or something in a movie.
These are licensed dances.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to profit, but we've never had to talk about dancing in this way because dancing's never been something to really like that a third party could take and profit from. You know what I mean? Unless you're a theater company, I guess. Like now you can. Now games can.
So you
games
think you can dance? What about all these dance movies and dance TV shows? And all
Who's
that?
stealing their dances? Who's doing the routine from Step Up 3?
Step Up 3 in the streets, stealing all those dances.
You got served, honey.
Yeah, you got served. Stomp the yard.
Honey, I remember Honey. Oh God, you're reaching way back.
See, I didn't connect the dots then. I thought like Jono was getting in after Nato said that and saying to Dream, "You got served, honey," because he just dropped some truth, and I'm like,
just get Alba.
Yeah, that fits.
So I've got one last little one, and I wasn't really going to talk about it at all, but now that Nato's here, I feel like this could be a test of his Pokemon mastery.
No.
So Nato, I'll start the story. And I'll let you figure out what the hard part, which is Has
it got to do with Pokemon Go? Because
it does.
I don't consider that Pokemon. So
it does. Well, millions
That's how
of
hardcore
people.
NATO is.
Yeah, millions of people do. So
exactly, get on my level, Dream. All right.
Pokemon Go is data mined, and they found a whole bunch of Pokemon are actually yet to be released.
the next gen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
do
next gen.
Do you know which ones specifically they
tell
found?
the story. Yeah, I don't know which ones, but I know it's from Diamond and Pearl.
Real Pokemon Master would have known. That's all I'm saying.
No, I just didn't care
Shed
because
Ninja?
Pokemon Go.
Shed Ninja?
Yeah, Shed Ninja.
Yeah, what else?
Yeah, and yep. I don't know.
Dusk Ninja?
As soon as I saw it was about Pokemon Go, I closed the article.
Can you, just for everyone, I want to get the public's opinion on this. Can you rank the Pokemon sets like you did before this episode started? Because it is amazing.
Gold and Silver is first by probably a good long shot.
Can you just give us a couple of Pokemon in there so people kind of know which ones you're talking about? Like who are the Gold and Silver ones?
Yeah, but that's personal taste.
No, but who are the Gold and Silver ones? I'm just saying, who are the starters there? Yeah. Cyndaquil.
No, fuck this.
No.
What are
you talking about?
And I'm not doing this on live thing.
I'll tell you because I'm a bit of a Pokemon master. Gold and Silver. That's Cyndaquil. That's
no, shush. Because I know you've literally got the website up now with Bulbapedia. Probably.
I don't. Look, I'll do it blindfolded.
How do I know that?
I'll do it. You can see me. My eyes are
He's
closed.
closing his eyes for the listeners that can't see Saleem.
Yeah.
Thank you. Gold and Silver. Totodile, Cyndaquil, Chikorita. Cool. Yeah, correct. It is correct.
What's happened to this show?
I know it. I know this shit. What's the? All right. So you think that's the best set of Pokemon ever? All right. What's this?
Gold and Silver easily.
What's the second best?
Oh, this is personal taste, but I'd say Ruby and Sapphire.
Don't say it's personal taste. This is what you believe.
No, Gen 1 is a whole bunch of shit. This Voltorb is literally a Pokeball with eyes on it. All right, everybody.
It's cool as shit.
They're so original and so well designed. Gen 1, they're crap. All right, Gen 1's a shit. They just had so many years to redesign the look of them. That's why they look good now.
And you can.
That's all I'll say.
You can choose your Pokemon master. It's either going to be Nato or me, someone who faithful to the original 150 Pokemon. Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur till I die.
Yeah, so Mew's not in your list then?
Mew is, but he's kind of like Mew was always a bit of an addition to the 150. It was like 150 and Mew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me say in 1999, I don't know how old you are, Saleem. I caught all 150, so you can throw me into that trio of ranking as well if you want to pick the master.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jono is my master. I'm hedging my bets
What?
right away.
I've done that.
And now I am...
Hold on.
aside.
I didn't know this was the criteria. I've done that. How good is that
Yeah, but
feeling
when
too,
did you
by
do
the
it?
way?
What year did you do it, man?
Jono's my Pokemon master now. I'll hand my title over to Jono.
I want to say
Saleem probably did it in like 2005.
no. I want to say 1999, and it was the Thursday night.
Oh, really?
It was the Thursday night. I'm not saying that like I wouldn't care if it was after you.
Thursday
It just
night.
I'm trying to
remembers.
remember because the game came out in
You would have been
1990.
like
1998.
8 years old.
I was 9, yeah. I was 9. And I had to steal my sister's Game Boy because she had blue, so I had to kind of do all the trading and stuff. And I did it one night at like, it would have been like 9 o'clock or something. It felt super late. The lights were already off. I was in bed. Mum didn't know. I had the Game Boy on. I was just doing the trade. And when it traded and I saved and it said 150, oh, that feeling.
Best feeling.
It is pretty nice.
We
But
just
I'll
bonded,
top
Saleem.
I'll top you just a little tiny bit. I got the 150 and then went and bought the Pokemon printer camera thing that they had and printed out the little certificate
Look
that
at
they
this
give you
guy.
at the end of the game. And it's somewhere still in my house in a little frame.
That's pretty
Nice.
cute. That's pretty cute.
On that crappy like
Yeah.
receipt paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, receipt paper.
Yeah, man, the Game Boy had some shit accessories.
Hey, have you seen somebody
many.
put like a Nikon lens onto one
the
of
Game
those?
Boy camera?
Yeah, on the Game Boy camera.
Damn.
There's so many. Like if you want a good laugh, find the Cinematica YouTube video where the angry video game nerd goes through all the peripherals, and there's like ones that like there's a light and a magnifying glass and like extra.
I had that, and it had a rumble pack as
Yeah.
well attached to it. It
extra
was fucking
batteries
excellent.
and like
Yeah.
ones that made it into like a just a monstrosity of a peripheral. It's crazy. Nintendo.
When there's no backlight, and I was like, you go on these big long road trips
Yeah,
with your parents
I
at
hear you.
night time, and you couldn't play the Game Boy. You had to have one of those lights.
All right, one quick question or prediction. Do you think we're going to see Game Boy Mini or N64 Mini by Nintendo this year? Which
This
one's
year
going to be
specifically?
announced and out by Christmas? Yeah, by Christmas
64.
2018.
I think 64 is more likely, but man,
But I don't want it.
the first time I've heard of the Game Boy idea, and that sounds like a banger.
20 games on it or something like that.
Yeah,
Did
backlight. Make sure it's got a backlight.
I think N64, and there was that leak of the manual last year that everyone thought it would be coming out last year. So I think it is going to be the Nintendo 64 first. There are a lot of Game Boy games that are on the Nintendo store already, though, aren't there? So it makes me.
But I think,
I know the.
and they don't really need to miniaturize it. Like maybe they do like the Game Boy Pocket, like the sort of the thinner one, but keep that same form factor.
Yeah.
Bump the graphics up a smidgy.
No cartridges.
20 games inbuilt.
No trade cable,
Yeah.
just do it all Wi-Fi.
You know, lithium battery.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
No, they won't do that. They won't do that.
If they do a trade cable, though, I wouldn't hate it. I like the trade cable. It's nice being. I don't know. There's something fun and novel about having
quaint,
to use it.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Ripping it out at the right time to clone Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good time.
Hell yeah.
Look at these hacker dogs. I'm seeing.
I believe that was
That's
a
how you had to do it on Gold
Gold
and
and
Silver,
Silver, yeah.
because there was no rare candy cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Respect.
The missing
Learn something
number.
new every day, listeners.
Yeah.
All right, so that wraps up the news. Let's move into the final segment of the podcast.
You've got mail.
And this listener question comes to us via way of Natalie, who hit us up on the Facebook. And her question reads, because asks makes no sense. Do you prefer playing video games solo or with friends? Which one and why? Jono, do you want to lead us off on this one?
Yeah, I'm glad I'm here because I feel like I'm one of the only persons that's going to say solo. Because I don't know. I know that I'm in the minority these days and things are very much moving into multiplayer, but I think a large part of it is that the PS3 is a game console that I experienced without any internet connectivity. I didn't have any. I was living off like one of those dongle internets when I got my PS3, so I never was able to like connect it and download updates for my PlayStation, trophies even. So I just got used
That's
to.
that's if the PlayStation Network was up at
Yeah,
that time.
exactly.
Anyway.
So I never.
More stable.
Yeah, you're right. I never had to worry about that because I didn't realize what was even going on.
Didn't even know about
But-
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess I fell in like that was when I felt like a renaissance of games because before that I'd been playing like old school like 90s, a lot of 90s games that I loved as a kid and was replaying, and a lot of emulators, and because it was that tail end of the PS2 where I don't know, there wasn't heaps coming out and I just wasn't as into it. But yeah, I think I just fell in love with like Fallout and Red Dead and BioShock and these classics that people still love today. And yeah, the multiplayer experience has just kind of passed me by. And I've tried to play more with friends. I've played like The Division with my brother and some friends. And even when like 2K comes out, I find myself just not wanting to talk to people. It's like late at night. I just feel like kind of sinking into my chair and not socializing. And I know that makes me different from most people, but I think some of it's mental. Like I just need to break out of it and try it and have people that invite me to do it and just do it. But yeah, that's me. And it's also like as a PlayStation thing, like there's so many great single player narratives that I haven't felt the need to delve into those kinds of games and line up my schedule with your schedule, and I don't feel obliged to play because you're waiting for me and then my internet drops out. It's just been too much fuss for me when I've thought about it. But yeah,
I'm right with you, and it's I was sort of tossing up both sides of this for a while. I love playing games with friends and the camaraderie and the banter and the shit talking and the shared tension amongst your squad mates in whatever game you're playing. But I'm with you. I prefer that narrative based experience where you're riding this singular wave of emotions by yourself, and it's just you in a room. Sometimes if you're playing with headphones on, or it's just you and that game in that universe, and that's still sort of my comfort food for me. I love that. I love it. Like it is probably escapism to a degree, and I love going on these big, massive, arcing stories across all these different universes out there. So yeah, I'm gonna go solo.
Nice.
Wasn't an easy decision, but yeah, solo for me as well. Nice. Nato?
Everything should have multiplayer. Everything. I'm one of those dirty. But saying that, I don't mean everything should have to play multiplayer. I mean everything should have a multiplayer option. Every game I've played, solo or multiplayer, there always gets a time with, oh shit, man, like how much fun would it be have my character and also play with somebody else's character when I got to a point in a game where I'm like once you get to those points in like Fallout and Skyrim where you're like, oh, I've kind of done everything, but I would like, man, I just like, even for like an hour of in my hundreds and thousands of hours playing solo, it would be fun to play for an hour with my friend multiplayer for a second, then go back to just being solo. Like I love solo, but I wish I could. There's so many games that I played solo that I'm like, oh man, I would have loved to like jump into multiplayer for a bit and then kind of go back to solo. It's like Destiny. Every time a Destiny game comes out, I play the whole story by myself. No one playing.
See, I play with everybody.
Yeah, no, I never play. I play the story completely by myself, and then as soon as I finish the story, I've got what I wanted out of it. Then I go back into multiplayer with everybody. Go back, play everything together.
Interesting.
That's what I mean. I like the solo, but I wish everything was multiplayer. And when I say I wish it was good multiplayer. I don't mean like just fucking old school jammer multiplayer onto it. I mean like everything. I would rather have it solo if it was not going to be a good multiplayer. But if you were able to make a good multiplayer, I wish everything was multiplayer. I fucking love playing with friends. Everything is better with friends.
Yeah.
Except Master. No.
Except what were you going to say, Brendan?
I was going to say masturbation, but then I'm like, it's just...
No, that does get better with friends too. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
I think
greasy palms.
If it's a hard one, I'm like you, Brendan. I don't really feel too firmly one way or the other. Like some of the best games I've ever played are single player only, and those are like some of the best gaming experiences I've ever had. Like very definitive moments of my like gaming life have been single player games with such, profound stories that you just, leave you crying in your like The Last of Us. I was thinking more the
Uncharted
JRPGs
franchise.
that I've like. There was
Yeah,
a part of my life where I was playing every single Final Fantasy game, some emulated, others on console, and I was doing that until like the wee hours of the morning as like a teenager. And that was fantastic, and I loved that, and I loved just living through those stories. But I also think about how I spent. As a teenager, like as 10, 11-year-old, I'd go to like internet cafes with my friends and play Diablo 2, and I'd play Warcraft 3, play Counter-Strike 1.6, and like those moments were so much fun. And I think that really shaped who I like my taste in games. So if I had to pick, I'd probably say multiplayer as well. I still to this day love games like I've talked about World of Warcraft.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
because that's what I was going to ask you. Could you imagine going back and like if those Final Fantasy games you did play were multiplayer, like even just co-op, like drop in co-op with your friends that you, like both of you control a bit of the party or did well. Like I reckon you could make all those things even better with.
I agree. Not always. Like there are games like Assassin's Creed where the multiplayer is probably not the reason you buy that game. And
but that's what I mean. It was good with multiplayer. Like I had, like even though Unity was a fucking trash heap, it was the first time I could go assassinating with friends and jump off the same building at the same time, and assassinate two people at the same time, and like that's what I mean. I don't mean everything needs to be like fully integrated World of Warcraft multiplayer, but like even just the opportunity to just do co-op with a friend playing games is like so much fun.
This is a hard one. I have to say multiplayer, but yeah. Like sometimes even in multiplayer games, I'm like, I don't want to fucking deal with anyone right now. Like sometimes I'll play WoW and someone will just gank me out of nowhere and I'll just think, fuck you. Like why? I was just gathering herbs. Like just let me gather herbs,
That's it. That's one of the things that I find frustrating in multiplayer is that other people can ruin your experience when that can't happen when you're on your own. Like there's so many times where I've thought, I'm going to give multiplayer a go. And then I just get like destroyed either because I suck at the game or someone's like being mean or exploiting me or something. Or like they've got some kind of lag on their end and it's making my experience worse. So I don't know. It just seems like, or you're like waiting for a server or you're waiting to connect or whatever it is. Like, I don't know. If you're there and you're talking to your friends, I'm sure it's like a lot different than just jumping into a multiplayer thing with randoms.
Yeah, because multiplayer doesn't mean you have to be competing against other people. Multiplayer can just be co-op. Yeah. Like where you are not playing with anybody else apart from the person you're playing with. That's what I mean.
Army of Two.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever play Army of Two?
That was such a good game.
Call of Duty World at War.
Local co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had such a great time playing A Way Out with my brother this year. Like, we don't get to play games together much. And I know you played that with Pez, Nato, but like we played the whole of that game together and it was so much fun, like just mucking around and trying to break the game. And
because that game could easily be single player.
Yes.
But yet, like, because they integrated in, it makes it like that's what I mean. I don't mean games have to be like versing each other. Like I'd just like to play with my friend, whether local or online. Like imagine Last of Us, like instead of Ellie being like this like shitty kind of NPC, like imagine somebody controlled her in some of the fights or like helped you through that and like
but that changes her. Like I haven't played The Last of Us, but I think the experience is built around like what she does on her own and not what someone makes her do.
Yeah. I don't mean, just like that scenario, because that's a lot harder. But if it was like built from the start for you to control Ellie as a co-op player, that's what I mean. I don't mean like just grab a game and turn it multiplayer. But like if that was the start idea from the start being a multiplayer optional game as well, they could have built the story. It's Naughty Dog. They could have built the story around it fucking easily being co-op.
Yeah. I think, Jono, A Way Out's probably the best one to sort of wrap this discussion up with is it was built as a multiplayer game from the ground up and it heavily relied upon that. If you don't have someone else playing with you, it's not going to go. And what they did as well, where only one of the players had to own the game, was genius.
Awesome. Yeah.
I hope more devs sort of try and push down that route because I think it would definitely
more people playing it.
Open up the audience more. Yeah.
And it took me right back to when I was a kid and my brother, we would sit there and play games together and played like most of my PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 memories are sports games because for whatever reason there is a reason, but I won't go into it now, but we played a lot of those games and they were always, there's so much replayability, especially when you're a kid and you don't know any better. You just play them over and over again. And even when you're playing a single player game, you're sitting there with your sibling and you're watching and you know, you're handing the control back and forth. And
Mario back in NES, it's technically a single player game, but you could do it multiplayer with like one of you did Mario and one of you did Luigi and you took turns. Like multiplayer is just like adds that little spice that I love.
And like spice. Playing Overcooked. I love playing Overcooked with my wife. And you know,
such a good game.
There's not many games we can play together, so stuff like that and like the Lego games, like there's no way I would play through an entire Lego game by myself when you can quite easily. It's the kind of game you really need to play with someone.
Yeah, the banter that comes from multiplayer, if you obviously you're in a whether it be on a couch or in a party with people you know, that heightens the experience. But yeah, doing like, you know, solo queuing Fortnite last night, for instance, like it was okay, but it's nowhere near as good as if I was in a squad with you three and we were on the microphones, you know, having a chat and having a laugh at the same time.
Look at the disgust.
I just think that's a beast of its own. Like, I don't know that Fortnite's the multiplayer experience that you should consider in this. Like, this
but that was just an example. Like, like any game like that, any online multiplayer game. I think it's heightened by playing with friends as opposed to going in solo.
Absolutely.
Unless you're a beast, no. Unless you're Shroud.
Absolutely, it is. I can't believe we haven't talked about No Man's Sky. Somehow referenced that game that was meant to be a multiplayer game that was a single player game, and you know, talking about anyway.
It kind of worked in some ways because it's space and
it's going to be better with multiplayer.
Yeah, it will be though. You're right. But yeah, so I think we've already tried to wrap this up, but I'm going to try again. For me, it's like an inconvenience thing where, like, if I'm playing with you guys, for example, and then my wife wants to talk to me, and I can't just like pause the game and get up and go and like have a chat or do the dishes or whatever she wants me to do, or if you know I have to like say I have kids and I have to get up and take care of the kids. It's like, how do you do that when you've got other people counting on you to do your part of the team if you're playing like the Division or Destiny or something?
Yeah.
You just got to get rid of the wife and kids. It's simple, Jono.
Just live that batch life.
Drop it at the arcade with $20
exactly.
and sell. Pick you up in 3 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or if it's like, oh, I need to go to bed because I have to go to work tomorrow. Oh, but don't wuss out on us. We gotta play one more game.
Ali suffers that many times.
Yeah.
No, dude, I totally hear that. Like, fuck, man, trying to get into a WoW guild for raiding, you have to commit to being free Wednesdays, Fridays, Sundays for like 6 hours at a time.
Yep.
It's crazy.
I had a mate at uni that was like super into WoW. This is like 2008. And you'd go over to his like room because we lived on res, and you'd be like, "Hey, Bads, you ready to go to dinner? Like down to the cafe?" And he'd be like, "Oh no, man, I'm in the middle of a WoW match." And it's like,
yeah.
So you're gonna be like another 10 minutes, 15 minutes? It's like, oh no, man, just go without me. Like, call me in a couple of hours. I'll call you. Yeah,
yeah, that sounds about right. All right, wrapped up.
It's wrapped up. Natalie, thank you for that question. Send them through via the email if you'd like to hello@8bit.net. On all the socials, those DMs are open on Facebook and Twitter at weare8bit, or hit us up individually if you'd want to go that route as well. Is there anything you three lovely gentlemen wanted to mention before we start saying our goodbyes for another week here at the Hungry HQ Satellite Edition?
You can find me and Saleem on It Is What It Is last week's episode if this is going up before Monday. So we had a good old chat about news and current affairs with Jack taking a bit of a break. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun. We really had the hot takes, hit the hot takes, came with the hot takes.
Saleem did, yeah.
I don't know, yeah.
My ears were scalding listening to that. They were burning from those hot takes. It was a good episode.
I was getting on a roll and I was talking and my brain hadn't quite caught up to the things I was saying and I was trying to pull back. I struggled. I also had the same problem this week on Forever Movie Boys, which is 8-Bit's movie review podcast. We watched Skyscraper, the latest Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie. It's disaster porn at its best. It is an absolute piece of shit of a film, and I would love for you to come and check out the podcast and hear us really break it down. It was a lot of fun, and thanks to my good friends Marche and Toby for having me on for that.
Good stuff.
I haven't listened to that episode yet, but I'm excited. I like their unique back and forth and sort of ways they go about picking apart film. Like I listened to the Hereditary episode after I watched that film the other day, and it shocked me that they loved it and spoke so highly of it, but it was also interesting to get their points of view on that film.
Watch, make sure you watch Skyscraper before you listen to this one. I think this one would be some you can listen to maybe without seeing the film, but because this film's so bad, it's like it helps if you're in on the joke, if that makes sense. So do check it out.
Very good. Oh, and
I'm going to throw back to you, Jono, real quick, because I know Dream there interjected on you.
Sorry to interject on you.
What was I? Oh, I don't know what I was going to say, but I may as well say...
Your mid-plugs.
Yeah, I may as well say that putting in work last week, or week before this probably by now, Roger Craig Smith was a great episode. If you're into voice acting in games and want to learn more about that world, have a listen to that interview with the voice of Ezio and Batman and a few other awesome characters in games. But the most recent episode was Ben Sorensen, who is the marketing director for ZQ Racing, the gaming chairs. He does a lot of hosting and panels at PAX and RTX and Supernova and that kind of thing. So really interesting guy. Has Asperger's syndrome, which is a really interesting part of the conversation. We talked about how he had to kind of overcome that to become this kind of public persona, radio host and voiceover artist in his own right. So that was a really good chat and a really zany but interesting, fascinating, wonderful guy.
Fantastic. What about you, Nato J? What do you got going on?
You can always catch me at the UGameBro podcast every Wednesday nights live on Twitch at UGameBro or twitch.tv/UGameBro podcast. That also goes up on the audios when we can get an episode actually up. And you can also catch me on the A+ Anime podcast talking about anime, getting new and old people into more different anime and checking out each episode. It's good for people that don't listen to anime as well, so don't be that your stopgate to listen to the podcast. We like to get new people into anime, so go listen to that on the OK Beast network.
And go listen to that with some tasty Audio-Technica headphones.
Oh, yeah.
And a microphone if you feel like doing some podcasting or some voiceover work. Audiotechnica.com.au, and while you're online shopping, go to designbyhumans.com/shop/we are 8bit for the tastiest pop culture and gaming merch on the internet without fail. Until next week, 8-Bit Nation, and thanks again. This has been the most testosterone-fueled episode of The Hungry Gamers to date. Let's see if we can raise this level further in future episodes. But until next week, much love.
Stay hungry.
Stay hungry.
You've been listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.